This is the Inclusive Employer Recognition Program, which is actually a result of different assessments done in the community in Medicine Hat, and also looking at where we're standing globally in terms of attracting and retaining employees in our region. And from the data collected in the Medicine Hat, there is a proof. It's evident that we have an aging population, and roughly 30% of the local workforce is about 9,500 people could retire within the next decade in Medicine Hat. And also the working age has been dropping due to the data collected in between 2016 and 2021. And the local workforce has declined over 10% since 2010. And this puts pressure on businesses on hiring and also retaining employees. And this affects also economic growth. And also in our rural renewal consultations we had with employers, for those who are not familiar, the rural renewal was a program of attracting people, especially talents, to come to the rural areas in Southeast Alberta to live there and also get their immigration credentials. Like, employers could apply for the employees. And in our consultation with the employers, they have demonstrated a lack of knowledge, skills, and tools to take meaningful actions toward retaining employees in our region. And also with the inclusion itself, retaining employees, it's been actually affecting many businesses in the employers where, for example, nationally, most of the companies were spending the average of $30,000 annually to hire new people because of the turnover. And when I was also planning for this session, I was looking at the Harvard Business Reviews where they show that inclusive workplaces can produce up to 56% higher performance and major reduction in turnover and absenteeism. And this is actually a motivation for us to promote inclusion in workplaces, because our region needs to thrive in terms of attracting employees and also keeping employees so that we can avoid those things. And also, in addition to this, the newcomer communities most of the time move to big cities because they are not able to feel the sense of belonging when the employers are not more inclusive enough to have practices that can keep them in the region and also feeling they're included in the workplace. So that's how we came up with the Workplace Inclusion Charter. It's not only our region doing this, we will show you other places doing the same thing. And also for us, we called it the Inclusive Employer Recognition Program, and we will touch more on that. Thank you.
So a little bit about the program. So this was locally developed. Actually, a group of service providers, community organizations, and employers came together about a year ago to design the Workplace Inclusion Charter, which are the commitments that we will be going over. It's a no-cost recognition initiative that helps employers build workplaces where people from diverse backgrounds feel welcomed, valued, and able to succeed. So a bit about how it works is, like I mentioned, co-designed, so the commitments were designed. Secondly, employers can sign the Workplace Inclusion Charter Declaration, which is their commitment to pledge and take meaningful action on workplace inclusion within our set time frame. Next, you will act. So employers receive tailored support, resources, and training to implement specific actions to advance their inclusion in their workplaces. And lastly, to celebrate, which is the recognition. So we will recognize participating employers as bronze, silver, or gold workplace inclusion champions, which we will go over later in these slides.
Our vision, you can hold the questions, maybe you can ask them at the end of the session because we have enough time for the questions as well. And our vision here is we want Southeast Alberta employers to lead in building inclusive workplaces where diversity drives business successes and where rights are upheld and all residents feel valued to participate, succeed, and stay in the region. And for us, doing this inclusion and building an inclusive workplace, it's not a charity, it's actually a strategic move of a business to be able to succeed in terms of having the motivated employees who can drive the business and succeed. The next slide, Lauren. In this project, cycle, as Lauren said, we actually have had the phase we've had, we've collected ideas from employers who were part of the rural renewal. And also we looked at the stats in the region and what we really need in the region. And when we were in our employer consultations with the rural renewal employers, we were asking them a question about what do you think other employers need to learn or to apply in the workplace to be able to keep employees in the region or to keep employees in their organizations. And then we have collected all those practices and we synthesized them into a number of commitments that employers can choose from. Then after that, the employers will be part of this program, will choose some of the commitments. You can choose all of them, or you can choose a few of them according to the capacity and the drive, what you want to achieve from this. And then after, the next phase will be after choosing the commitments, there will be the implementation of the commitments. During the implementation of the commitments, our local immigration partnership and our partner organizations will be actively providing resources and support and will be touch basing on how it's going. And then after 1 year, we will do the recognition. And during the recognition, we have the award ceremony. And also we will highlight on the social media the best practices, the employers who were committing to do this and what they have achieved. And also be collecting some of the success stories to show other employers too, how this has been successful and helping to them.
So there are several key benefits to participating. Some of them, what we believe is increased awareness. So you're able to build awareness of your employees' diverse needs and support them in meaningful ways, leading to higher satisfaction and stronger productivity. Next is enhanced reputation. Inclusive employers gain a positive reputation that helps bring in skilled candidates while saving time and resources on recruitment and onboarding. And next is better retention. So employees who feel valued and supported are more likely to stay within their employer long term. So ultimately, creating an inclusive workplace helps organizations build stronger teams and more stable workforces.
This is not only our local immigration partnership doing this. We have other local immigration partnerships in the region doing this. And we also welcome Tinbit from Toronto. She's also learning about how to implement this in Toronto. So, for example, in the Bow Valley Immigration Partnership, they have been implementing the Workplace Inclusion Charter. And from all the businesses they've been working with, they've been giving testimonies about the change they've seen, especially for retaining the employees. And for example, in the Banff area where they work in tourism and where employees coming from, even like temporary foreign workers, people with the minimal English skills were able to be supported and feel included in the workplace, were able to provide more productivity because they were feeling that their employers are doing something to keep them and help them grow. And you can actually buy someone's time by providing a salary, but also you can't buy their heart because you actually gain their heart and their goodwill when you approach them as human beings. You do things that keep them there. So some of the things of the testimonies they've been providing in the assessments they had with the local immigration partnerships in the Banff area and the Bow Valley local immigration partnership, this is one of the testimonies this employer said. The Workplace Inclusion Charter not only allows our company to be held accountable to ensuring certain minimum inclusion standards are met, but also opens the doors to many wonderful peer groups throughout the valley. Access to this network of like-minded individuals helps us brainstorm and troubleshoot how we can make sustainable changes to better incorporate DEI practices into our day-to-day operations. There are even other comments This one who said the Workplace Inclusion Charter program provided us with the practical strategies to enhance inclusion in our workplace. We especially appreciated the plain language course, which improved our communication across the team. The program's commitments and resources helped us create a more welcoming and supportive environment, and we encourage other organizations to take part of it. Like these are some of the testimonies we've heard from Bow Valley Immigration Partnership. They are far ahead with their numbers because they've started some 2 years before us. And we hope also we will reach some numbers also in the future the more we work on this. Next slide.
So this project is actually made possible through funding from a SILP grant through the government of Alberta, and it involves the local immigration partnership as well as Medicine Hat economic development.
I think Lauren has touched on these levels of recognition. Depending on the number of the commitments you take, and you commit to complete, you can either be recognized as a silver or a bronze when you have 5. And when you have 7 commitments and made them, you can be a silver and then a gold if you have 8 and plus. And along like this are some of these commitments actually they are interconnected in a way that, for example, we will go through them. You can commit to having most of them or some of them, depending on how your organization is ready. But also, they're very interesting to see how they can actually boost the business success when you try to apply some of them.
So next we're going to go over the commitments. So the commitments are actually broken into 3 different categories. The first one being in the workplace. And just to mention, all of these you can review afterwards. I'm just going to be going over them briefly. So the first one being is create one or more activity per year that celebrates diversity, such as a potluck or sports activity. Next is providing new staff with a buddy that is not a manager who can answer questions and help out the new staff. Next is to participate in intercultural training to improve understanding of different cultures and promote inclusion in the workplace. So an example of this, we actually have Mike here today from CWE. So Mike, if maybe you want to provide a couple words on your supporting intercultural workplace inclusion project and what the training looks like.
So the project itself is we're working with employers and service providers by providing them workshops that they can participate in. And those workshops will give them some knowledge or tools that they can use to help them hire and retain individuals and employees into their workforce. And just try to give them some ideas into better integrating those individuals into their workplace, try to maybe ease the transition of hiring them and making them a part of the workplace, similar to what was mentioned before. And that's essentially the gist of the program.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
So you can actually find their upcoming training on their website. So I've linked it here. We can also provide it following this meeting if you go to cwe.ca. Just moving on, one of the next commitments is to accommodate different employees' needs at work, such as gender neutral bathrooms, prayer room, wheelchair ramp. The list goes on. We're able to provide examples, and really these are open to whatever you interpret it as. Last for this category is to tell your team about the Workplace Inclusion Charter commitments within 30 days of signing. So secondly, the second category is in hiring. So one of them is to add a statement in your job posting encouraging diverse people to apply. Next is to conduct an interview with a candidate from a group, which tends to be overlooked by recruiters. This could be youth, newcomers, seniors, or people with different cultural background or work experience. Next is to learn about competency-based assessments for newcomers and how to evaluate the skills of potential employees as a part of your hiring process. Next is to connect with local employment agencies that specialize in diverse candidates, including newcomers, individuals with disabilities, youth, Indigenous people. This allows you to review resumes, consider potential hires, and participate in job fairs while promoting your job postings. And then the last category is information for new staff. So this includes designating a central location to house settlement and community resource information for staff and provide all staff with new to community with a local newcomer welcome guidebook. This is one that, for example, we will provide for you if this is the commitment you choose. Next is to provide employees with clear information on both their rights and responsibilities as workers, as well as the rights and responsibilities of the employer. Next is to talk to your new employees about what they might need help with at work or within the community and then support them. And then lastly, conduct a new employee needs assessment and work to respond on it. So I know I just glazed over all of these, but these can all be found on our website. And if you need clarification on any of these, we're happy to provide that. And then like Siddiqui said, you can choose however many commitments you wish, and we will provide examples on how it can be done or provide resources once they are chosen. So next is how to actually sign the charter. So if you haven't checked out our website yet, you can find it at theinclusionhub.ca/inclusive employer recognition. Once you get there, you can scroll through. This actually provides more information about the commitments, resources, and well as registration. So actually, when you first land on the webpage, it's really easy to find here. You'll see a button where it says Become a 2026 Workplace Inclusion Champion. You'll just click on that, and then it's a simple form. It gives you step by step. You'll choose your commitments, and then you'll formally sign, and then you'll be a part of the program. So I think I'll just also mention that participation is free and that our team is available to support throughout the process. So that brings us kind of to the end. So we have a chance for some question and answers. So feel free if you have any questions now. If you think of them later, you can always reach out to us. And I have our contacts on the last page here. Mike?
So the question I had was, in terms of the recognition itself, how long does that last? The recognition, is it in perpetuity? Does it need to be renewed on a yearly basis? Did you have anything in mind for that?
Siddiqui, if you want to maybe.
Going through the timelines, actually participation in this program has to start before April this year. And then the recipients of the recognition will be announced in February 2027. And because this project is depending on the SILP grant from the government of Alberta, we will do the reporting and apply for more for the progression. So we can't say today that we are very sure about what will happen after the first recognition, but we'll do our best to make sure that the program can continue, and we'll look at the diverse funding sources so that we can be able to continue the program. And for the employers who will be part of the program, of course, we'll have a progressive communication about the next steps as time will be moving on. I have shared the page in the chart so that you can easily click on it, the program page. Did I respond to your question, Mike?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Tinbit.
Hopefully, great, you can hear me. Thank you for the presentation. I think it gives some insight. Like you mentioned, we've had a charter like this or similar to this through one of our LIPs that got defunded last year. So it's something that we're looking into if it is something that we can continue through our LIP. The question that I have is, what was the process like in doing outreach for employers or engaging with employers to actually get them to join? And what types of employers did you find? They were large, medium, small? Because I find that that was one of our pain points when we were discussing it. How do we locate those employers to join to this charter?
The first thing we've looked at was the employers who were already connected with the local immigration partnership through the Rural Renewal Employment Scheme. It's an immigration scheme, not an employment scheme, sorry. It was the employers who were pushing hard to get talents in the region. And because they were hiring diverse people and they were also providing practices that can work for other employers, and they were also communicating the challenges they face while also hiring a diversity of the people. Those are the first one we looked at. In terms of the business size, we've heard actually discussions about that, but also we didn't want to focus on whether it's a big business or a small business, but also we looked at who is willing to be part of this and also who sees it more beneficial. And of course, we're targeting employers who are also recommended by some of our partners, especially hiring the temporary foreign workers, newcomers, and also having a diversity of employees.
Gotcha. Thank you.
More questions? Harry?
Yes. Well, I just wanted to share more than a questions. I think that this is a great idea, a good initiative in our region. And from our program, we're gonna promote the employment recognition with all the employers that work in collaboration in the community. And for sure, we're gonna hope that they participate. Sometimes they are very busy, but they have a lot of employees from different countries, and also they have been very active promoting being inclusive and supporting newcomers in our in Medicine Hat and Redcliffe area.
Well, thanks everyone for joining today. We really appreciate it. Like I said, our contact information is up here. Don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, have a good rest of your day.